to the deep dive. In a world that often feels, well, chaotic, overwhelming, finding genuine peace, that sense of real safety, it can seem like a huge task. Today, we're diving into some unique sources. They offer a perhaps surprisingly counterintuitive path to tranquility. One even calls it finding songs in the night during, life's storms. We've got a passage dated July 10 titled Songs in the Night. It includes an ancient psalm and a really fascinating theological reprint. Our mission, to pull out the most powerful insights for you. Okay, let's unpack this. We can start with the timeless words of Psalm 4.8. It says, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. I'm immediately struck by the absolute nature of that. Safety coming from just one source. It's not about finding peace in ourselves exactly or through our circumstances. It's presented as something given. What does that suggest, do you think, about where true rest comes from?
It's a profound starting point, isn't it? This text really emphasizes that ultimate peace and safety aren't things we generate ourselves. Not through striving or willpower, they're bestowed. The implication here, if we sort of connect it to the bigger picture, is maybe that true rest comes not from more control, but from letting go.
Yeah.
Surrendering to a source beyond ourselves. It kind of shifts the whole foundation of security.
Yeah, letting go. That's interesting. Okay, so moving from that psalm to this other piece, we've identified it as reprint Tash 1054.1.
Yeah.
It seems like a devotional commentary for a particular time, and this is where it gets really interesting, I think. The text invites us to cast all our cares upon the Lord, knowing that he careth for us. Okay? And then it offers this encouraging assurance that we shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away, even right in the middle of trials. But this reward isn't automatic, is it? It mentions conditions.
Exactly. No, not automatic at all. The reprint is incredibly clear on those conditions. This unfading crown of glory, it says, is received if, in steadfast sobriety and humility, we work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Now, for context, this specific theological text frames salvation itself as a foundational gift first, being first redeemed with the precious blood of Christ, and thus through faith having gained the privilege of working it out. So it's not about earning the initial gift, but more about actively participating in the journey after receiving it. It's a bit like being given this magnificent garden, and then you have to diligently tend to it with care and maybe reverence.
Right? That's a key distinction, the gift and then the working out. So what does this practical working it out actually look like? Especially when we're facing trials, anxiety, how does it connect back to finding that comfort? The reprint highlights a really crucial dynamic here. While God resisteth the proud, and they also resist him, he giveth grace to the humble. So humility seems absolutely central here, according to this source. For receiving comfort, grace. It's almost like humility is the channel, the way peace flows in.
Precisely. Yeah, that distinction between the proud and the humble is really pivotal in this text framework for how one experiences grace and peace. It suggests pretty strongly that if we're prideful, we're kind of, shutting ourselves off, resisting the very thing that could bring comfort. But embracing humility and maybe not seeing it as weakness, but as an openness, right? An openness to receive what we need from beyond ourselves that creates the receptivity, the space for that comfort and assurance it described earlier. It's about acknowledging our limits, which paradoxically maybe opens us up to greater strength and peace. It seems like a very active form of humility, needing diligence and maybe a healthy respect for the process, which perhaps is what that fear and trembling part implies.
Mm-hmm. So we've taken a deep dive into these sources. They present a profound perspective on finding peace, casting worries, enduring trials. And it's not just a passive peace. It's framed by these specific active conditions: steadfastness, sobriety, and especially humility. What stands out to you from these words, these ancient and insightful words about navigating life's challenges and finding a true sense of safety? Do they resonate at all with your own experience, maybe, of trying to find calm in what often feels like a chaotic world? We really encourage you to reflect on these ideas. Consider what it truly means, perhaps, to cast your cares and embrace that kind of active humility on your own path to peace.